So for roll call, everybody is here. We have our secretary, Ashley Custer, is going to be online, so everybody else is here. We need to make an executive session. We had an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel, and then I'm going to move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment from anybody here? Saying no. Do we have any public comment online? All right. So we're going to move, unfortunately, our presentation that we had, they're still working over and doing their presentation over at the gym, so we're going to pass on that. We'll see them hopefully in the next couple of weeks when we're seeing it live. So I'm going to move on to the report of the superintendent 5.1.
Thank you. This evening I have a very quick report. Later this week I'll be releasing a blog that it contains our student surveys. As part of our district goals, we are interested in communication and collaboration with all stakeholder groups. Previously this year, we have surveyed our community members, our staff, and our parents, and we'll be sending 3 separate surveys to our students. They'll be posted online for parents to view, and in the rare case that somebody wants to opt out, they will have the option to do that. Another survey that will be going out is our American Rescue Plan Essers Stakeholder Survey. This is yet another opportunity to gain feedback from our community members on how we invest our ESSER dollars. We have previously spoken with groups and identified areas through the survey and also through other conversations about where to invest those dollars, but this is another opportunity to get feedback. And that is all I have for this evening.
Well, thank you. And we're going to move on to action item 6.1, personnel. I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 6.1.
Just 6.1?
Just 6.1 for now.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve 6.1 to professional staff retirement. Do I have any comments or questions?
I have a comment. Jim Reckenberg's been with us for a long, long time. Wonderful, wonderful man, wonderful family. I just wish him and his wife and his family have fun in their next chapter. And thank you.
I second that. I'm sorry. I second what Patty had said. I've known Jim for a little while now. Yeah, great family, great person, great representative of Pottsgrove School District. So sorely missed.
Any others? All right. I need all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion 6.2.
I'd like to make a motion we approve 6.2 through 6.5.
I have a motion and a second to approve 6.2 through 6.5. Do I have any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move to 7.1.
I'm sorry. I'll make the motion we approve 7.1.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve 7.1, the legal services consultation agreement. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. 7.2.
Make a motion that we pass 7.2.
I'll make a motion we approve 7.2 and 3. 7.3.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the remaining items under business, 7.2, 7.3. Do we have any comments or questions?
Just a quick comment. The Special Olympics Unified Track team is doing very well, and I'll bring that up during my committee report with athletics. But this is a phenomenal, phenomenal program and a privilege for Pottsgrove to have earned.
Thank you very much. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to move to action items education, 8.1.
I'll make a motion we approve 8.1, conference attendance.
I have a motion and a second to approve the conference attendance, 8.1. Do we have any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. 8.2, comprehensive plan.
I'll make a motion that we approve 8.2 comprehensive plan.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the comprehensive plan. Does anybody have any comments or questions? All right, and I'll say one for that. I know Jim was involved with the comprehensive plan, and many others that were involved in the comprehensive plan and gave your hours and volunteered over a course of over a month at least, and multiple meetings. So I want to obviously say thank you to Jim, the parents, and the teachers, staff, administration, and everybody that went through that process. So thank you very much for giving your time for that.
Actually, yeah, well, I mean, because it was really nice having a large cross-section of the community work together on this project. So many parents that were very passionate about doing what was right for the students and putting the students first, and there's a lot of passion in our community for the students, and it was really nice seeing them all work together with the teachers, administrators, and the board. It was a very positive experience. So.
If I could take a moment, I'd like to thank and acknowledge Mr. Daniel Vor's leadership in the comprehensive plan. There was a tremendous amount of work in that, and a tremendous amount of effort in leading those groups, so I want to thank him. And it's also another opportunity to invite the public. We have committee meetings regularly. We have a number of different opportunities, and we really do appreciate, board meetings are great, but it's those committee meetings and the other foundational meetings that are fantastic ways to interact. So please, if you are interested, please think about attending those. Thank you.
I need a vote. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to move to 9.1, Joint Operating Committee.
Thank you. A lot's going on at the Western Center. So far, we have over 400 applications for this upcoming year, which is fantastic. We have 36 co-ops that we're working on right now, which is fantastic. We're still trying to get, this is getting these kids ready with their skill to advance so they're ready when they graduate from us to go into a job. So I'm very proud of that. I got to sit on the Perkins Grant. And again, this is so involved, every board member should take a chance and see all the information that goes in for this grant. It took an hour, but it's a lot of involvement. There's not only teachers, administrators, you have the intermediate unit, you had everybody, the community college was there. It was all Zoom, but fantastic. So this is a free government money that we get. We can't lose this grant, ever. So I was thankful that I was able to sit on it. We also discussed the Essers funding, and we got 2.5%, which is $379,000. So we actually are realizing that there's some things at the Western Center that need major repair. So we're forming a facilities committee, and we're going to do like what we do here. We're going to have a timeline. This year we budget for this year we budget for that, because we're starting to realize that it's been almost 11 years since the school's been renovated, and nothing's really been done. And we cannot rely, because some people say to me, well, can't the students do that? They're doing electrical work. No, this is an education, and it's a big safety issue. The students are there to learn. So that's going to come in handy for us. Great news, the community diner was open. The Lions Club was able to go, or I think it was Rotary Club, was able to have a banquet there, which is like we're getting there. And May 5th is going to be our first community dinner, and the theme is going to be Cinco de Mayo. So I don't know all the times just yet, but we're really, really excited that we're moving forward and giving our students a chance. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, Chuck Smith, our collision repair instructor, did a presentation, and it's called Recycle Rides. And we are 1 in 5 in the country that qualify for this, but Recycled Rides is basically going to benefit people who need rides. They're homeless, they just don't have a job, or they have a job, but they need a way to get there. So the way it works is you'll get a car that's totaled, and say it's a Toyota. So then what we try to do is we select the car, and then we try to get Toyota to donate the parts. So the kids each year want to make it a goal that they can refurbish this, and then we can give this to a person in need. Unfortunately, what I saw is it's not going to be local. I don't know how the committee works, and they select it, who gets the car. But it just brings home to me in my heart, like, there's people out there that'd be grateful for a bicycle to get to work. So this is, like I said, 1 out of 5 that we were selected to do. So there'll be more coming up as I get more involved with that. So again, we're always looking for different ideas to move forward. And the last thing I want to say is Mr. Livingood, who's our new director, he's been there since January, had suggested that possibly he come to a Pottsgrove meeting, and I told him I would check with our board and give a recap. And let's see what we've done. Now, he's only been there since January, but what he's done and where he sees us going next year. We used to have the budget presentation. So that's up to you if you want me to set that up for him to come and do the budget here to present it to us. So I would just need feedback from you guys, what you would think.
If I might, one thing that you don't know, Patty, post-meeting, Chairman Grimm, Patty's our chairman at the Western Center, appointed a negotiating committee. The Western Center has 2 contracts this year. Their Teamsters contract, which is our custodian group generally, and our professional staff. And that, again, what I'm adding on is that committee Patty appointed, and Jay is the Pottsgrove representative, and I don't know if anybody remembers Keith McCarrick, who was on this board at one point a long time ago, is now.
That's how long
He's representing Upper Perk, and that committee, my point of this little report is that committee did meet and start their process, and hopefully we'll be able to fold that into your budget considerations this year.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions or comments? All right, we're going to move on to committee items, 10.1. Oh,
Maybe you can explain a bit more about the community dinner since it's been like 2 years, so, yeah.
The community dinners we're just going to say we're going to do it from forward, but it's the first Monday of every month. We have our JOC meeting, and the culinary students, they come up with a theme. So it's going to be Cinco de Mayo. So the students will figure out what they have to buy, how they're going to make it, and how to present it. And it's a great way for the kids to learn how to be hosts and hostess, and it's delicious food. And we actually announced it to the community. And before the pandemic, I mean, we used to sell out. So next meeting, when we have our next meeting, I'll know more details on dates, prices, and because they have times. Any other questions?
Just so you know, they generally do sell out, so make sure you make a reservation, because you just show up at the door, you're likely not to get in.
all right, we're going to move on to 10.1, approval of policy committee meetings minutes. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve 10.1.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve 10.1's policy committee meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting minutes approved. We're going to move on to 10.1, food services.
I'll make a motion that we approve 10.2, policy approval for 808 food services.
I have a motion and a second to approve 10.2, the food services. Do I have any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're going to move out to the reporting of the committees. 10.1, operations first. Dr. Nippert?
the major increase for the curriculum department's budget was the potential of a new ELA curriculum at K-8, as well as the increase in our virtual academy costs, since families have been remaining virtual that we didn't anticipate for this year. The next item on the agenda was the discussion of the technology budget. Dr. Ramage went over his budget, and the major cost drivers for him are the new leases that we have to, for the high school students here for their laptops. That's up for renewal for next school year. Then we reviewed the 5-year enrollment projection and 5-year financial projection for the district. We went over the historical enrollment, live birth data, any new housing starts that we received from the townships via communication from them, and we projected out what our enrollment is for the next 5 years. And using some of those numbers from that projection, we incorporated them into our 5-year financial projection, which would show, assuming no tax increases for the next 5 years, and the assumptions that I have made that we discussed, our fund balance would be down to about $2.6 million within 5 years. And then the last thing that we rushed through was I gave you out the comprehensive budget document. It was at the 100-page book for you guys to digest and look over, and we can discuss that at a future meeting if need be.
Just to add a few things, the 5-year projection says that enrollment in the district will stay relatively flat for the next 5 years. The decline in birth rate is almost exactly offset by the projected enrollment increase from new housing development, Saratoga Green specifically. So that's that. Just one point, which I'm sure the board is aware of, but this is more to anybody viewing this. We get involved with curriculum on a financial basis only. The curriculum committee looks into content, and of course the board's aware of that, but I don't know if the audience necessarily is. I want to make that point to prevent any confusion. So anyway, that's a short description of what we did. We're looking at the budget plan, and we'll be doing that at our next meeting. Thank you.
Any questions? All right, I did actually have one question. When you're looking over that budget part and you're projecting with the birth rate and such, by any chance, or do you have to wait until the students are enrolled, are you projecting the busing? Because obviously, if the birth rate's decreasing, let's say over at Turnberry Farms, which had a lot of births younger, now you're still going to have to send a bus over there to pick up some kids, but now Saratoga Green's going to have different buses. Right. Are we budgeting in that area where we may have to have extra buses versus where they're at?
We won't be able to address a busing situation, unfortunately, until we actually start seeing the kids showing up. So we'll be working in coordination with our contractor to make sure we have the right appropriate vehicles scheduled if we have to purchase more to accommodate. I wouldn't hope so, because right now the projection of our enrollment is relatively stable. So we'll be using the same fleet of vehicles to transport 3,300 students. We're still using those same vehicles now to transport 3,100 students. So I don't anticipate any additional vehicles. Just may reappropriate where they're going.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the athletics. Patty?
We had a great meeting. I'm just going to recap pretty much to summarize everything we went over. Mr. Dorenzo shared with the committee an update with a variety of co-curricular programs that have been and continue to be offered to our students in grades 3 through 8. This is the 4th year of this incentive to connect faculty members and students after school programming. Research has long supported the co-curricular connection, help break down the barriers in the classroom, and establish a healthy relationship between students and teachers. A 4-year summary of the participants and programs are provided to the committee. Mrs. Neeson inquired about adding programs at the high school level, as that would be a change to the original concept of 3 through 8th grades. This concept will be explored with both the administration and the Teachers Association, as these programs fall under a memorandum of understanding between the district and the Pottsgrove Education Association. Mrs. Ruse Brown, who's in the audience today, she's wonderful, asked about the possibility of utilizing volunteers to assist with the programs. This was one of our goals, I don't know if you remember, a couple years ago, to start adding things so the kids have more after-school activities to be involved. So that was that. Mr. Ansbach introduced a flyer announcing a series of 6 sports camps that will serve as a fundraiser for each of the teams organizing the camps. These programs will serve as the bridge to connect high school student athletes with our younger students to help them get excited to participate in interscholastic sports. Last year, the football team attracted over 100 youths to take part in the camp. The Ticket Spricket online program will be used to make the payments more streamlined. Mr. Ensbach also summarized this year's Read Across America program that was expanded to all 3 elementary schools this year. Over 60 student athletes traveled to Lower, Ringing Rocks, and West Pottsgrove elementary schools to read and interact with our younger learners. Mrs. Neeson commented that all students benefit from this experience, as it provides a mentorship experience for all high school students. The high school will continue to look for opportunities to interact with students throughout the district to create connections similar to sending high schoolers to West Pottsgrove to play with those students during recess time, which I didn't realize they did that, but that's pretty cool, I thought. Mr. Dorenzo reviewed the Pride fitness program that has been very successful the past 7 years and how it's been incorporated into the Pottsgrove Education Foundation 5K race in May. Mr. Ansbach elaborated on attaching the Pride basketball program that Mr. Palladino started in Pottstown and incorporated here at Pottsgrove, so both schools and our students have opportunities to participate together in the shared programs. These types of programs have helped relationships build between the students and both schools. And with this said, I applaud Mr. Palladino. I mean, he's just a wonderful mentor. You know, he's the judge for Pottstown, but he just is such a kind heart that reaches so many kids out there. And I don't know if you know, but he's like 6'5", you know, so, but he's a wonderful, wonderful person and a wonderful coach. So we're real glad to have him here. Mr. Dorenzo shared information regarding the Pottsgrove Athletic Hall of Fame's 3rd induction class. The ceremony will be held on Saturday, April 30th. This year's inductees are Kathy Jo Witterbottom, she's from class of 81, Jimmy Cerameno, 97, Jermaine Thaxton, who I remember, 98, Dana Weems, 02, Megan Van Busker, Carlin, 06, and the 2008 boys soccer team. So Megan, I've known Megan all my life. I mean, and of course the boys soccer team, I have to support my coach, you know, I have to, you know. But then I asked the committees to consider Mr. Stanley David Heiser in the future years. Mr. David Heiser was killed in Vietnam and still holds the record for the javelin at Pottsgrove. And one thing I remember with him is he actually was a student of ours. He got married here, went to Vietnam, had a son here in the States that he never got to meet because he never made it home. So these are one of this fella, I never ever want him to be forgotten at Pottsgrove, and he still has the javelin record. And one thing that, Gary, maybe if I could ask you, could you explain that Falcon was for the veterans? I didn't realize, I bet you it'd be nice for everybody to know. Sorry. I didn't know.
Good evening. The Falcon in the main lobby of the high school gym was commissioned by a group of parents for their sons that were lost in foreign wars. So when you walk in there, that bronze Falcon was commissioned by a group of parents, so it will stay in there hopefully as long as the school stays here. So it's a remembrance of those that we lost in foreign wars.
And we'll never forget them. We'll never forget them. Now, with that said, could you go on to the next with Unified Track?
Sure. 2 years ago, we started a unified track program, which is really a subsidiary of the Special Olympics program. And basically, it's a track program that coordinates all students. There's 6 different events, and each student is allowed and permitted to run 2 events, a running event and a field event, so to speak. They're modified events, but they're run in the same type as what we would call a regular track meet. But there's modified pieces. There's a javelin that's not a full 8-foot javelin. It's a smaller rubberized javelin, and it's really they are seeded according to their abilities. Both, so if a kid runs a 100-meter dash in 11:05, he's with the other students that are in that same time frame. So that's the best part of the program. There's no difference between any of the students, and it's really a track meet that offers opportunities for all of our kids, no matter what their disability, and I don't really call them disabilities, I call them abilities, that they can participate in. One of the other big things is that, and this is really, this is Mr. Ansbach, so I'm taking his credit, but that's not fair because he was the genesis behind this. We hosted a district meet last year, and there was 4 different schools here, and this year he went out and solicited, and it's very competitive with the district schools in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is the most competitive district in the state of Pennsylvania to acquire these programs because they're funded for 2 years via grant, and then after those 2 years, they become the responsibility of the school district if they're a successful program. This year, he has secured us a regional site, which means there will be 8 different schools here, and the date, I think, is May 16th, which is a tremendous, again, be able to attract these types of programs, which in turn will lead us to additional programs. We've tried to get bocce the first year, but it was too competitive, so we started with track, but by hosting this regional event, I think that we have a pretty good chance of being able to get bocce, which would be a winter sport then.
Thank you.
Sure.
So mark your calendars for May 16th. Mr. Strunk suggested the agenda of the committee meetings to include a community relations aspect in addition to athletics and co-curricular programs. This will help clarify the goal of each area. Mr. Lappick, a supporter providing the opportunity for a Pottsgrove television program to begin to televise a variety of programs, both academic and athletic. Dr. Nipper suggested one of the benefits of this program would be to showcase the many programs here at Pottsgrove when parents are deciding on cyber charter school enrollment. And that's my report. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
You bet.
And lastly, we're going to move on to curriculum. Jim. Oh, Tina, sorry, Tina.
No problem. So we met this past Tuesday night. We had a few of our community members join us to raise some questions with regard to curriculum and discuss potential areas for growth in community engagement. Very valuable, and as you mentioned earlier, coming to the committee meetings is where the dialogue really happens, and we appreciate that. I'm going to go way out of order on the agenda, and I'm going to begin with the Future Ready PA Index that Mr. Voorhees had presented to us. It is a publicly available comprehensive location for information about school success. It includes information on state assessment measures, on-track measures, and college and career measures. So basically, what made it difficult was, and if I get any of this wrong, call me out. We had a decreased participation rate as far as the students taking this test. Our students took it at a different time from other district students, which made it difficult to compare and contrast data. It's not that the data wasn't valuable, it's that it's a little challenging. So we're taking from it what we can and then kind of chalking up the rest to, you don't really have an apples to apples comparison. So that said, moving on to, we discussed personal finance. The board was interested in considering a change in the requirements to requiring that. It's a half-credit personal finance course. It ended up raising a significant number of questions, and given the fact that Dr. Smith is coming on new to us next year, we've decided it best to wait, see if we can't answer some of those questions, get a more solidified plan in place before we would go ahead and entertain that. We want to also thank the guidance counselors because they were of huge help to Mr. Voorhees and Dr. Ramage when they went back to ask their opinions and what does the implementation look like, and say that they provided such valuable information, and we're really grateful for that. To kind of jump over to high school course requests, and I wanted to put that after this because we received such detailed information, pages of pretty much every course that the high school offers. And the guidance counselors, again, they work extensively with this to have the kids, having the schedules that they need, tracking graduation, all the things that go into that, all the moving parts. And so what struck me was when you go through all of those classes, and I was interested in, who's taking, what classes have the most enrollment. Aside from 9th and 10th grade phys ed, personal finance, the class is valuable. We all agree on that. And so do the kids, because they're taking it. And I think it's really great to highlight that class is listed second behind phys ed. And there are other classes, there's English, there's math, all those different things. But personal finance has the highest when you're looking at both first choice as well as elective. Alternative. They are taking the course. And then lastly, we discussed the internship, which is a new program that's being introduced, and we have, Mrs. Breyer is kind enough to indulge us with projecting. I love show and tell, so we have that here. And did you wish to speak on that, Dr. Finnerty?
I'd be happy to do. Thank you. So this is the first year that we're looking to offer internships, and the idea behind internships is to provide an opportunity for students to gain real-world experience and credit at the same time. We had administered a survey earlier in the year to all of our rising seniors, and we had about 70% of students express interest in the program. Now that we're at the time to request courses, now's the time to make your request known. We are very interested in working with students to help place them in internship positions. Mr. Dorenzo and some other staff members have been working hard to facilitate that. So we're looking forward to a very successful program and something that we hope to continue moving forward.
So part of what Mrs. Breyer is projecting is just the survey overview. There was a survey taken, and as far as how many students were interested, and then also the breakdown of that, if they wanted to take it for just the fall semester, the spring semester, or an entire year. You can see here, by and large, they did wish to do that for the full year. And if you'd like to scroll down a little bit more. And then here were different student interest by career cluster. So as you can see, the highest interest area was human services, followed by health sciences and education. So this was of the students, and I think if you scroll a little further, there are actual numbers of the students and what they chose to be able to, that's what's driving those bars there. So again, this is really just a great conversation starter for the kids to be able to see what might they wish to do with regard to an internship and where they might wish to focus their efforts. And then just some smaller items. If one student chose something, they put it here on the list as well. So again, just great conversation starters to be able to drive further engagement in the community of securing the different businesses to provide these opportunities for the students. Does anyone have any questions with regard to the committee meeting?
Just one comment.
Sure.
When we were looking over this, which was a great meeting, by the way, these careers of interest, a lot of those there are offered at the Western Center, advanced manufacturing. I mean, so we're both combining and getting the kids where they need to be. So I was really, it was a great meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a question. In regards to, you had mentioned that the students that have an internship would receive some type of high school credit. Now, is this going to be in a particular subject that they're working on, or is this going to be just like internship credit, half credit elective?
Good question. It would be an elective credit.
Anybody else? Thank you, Tina. We're going to move on to new business. Dr. Finnerty, any new business?
Just one item, well, actually two items. One, when I was talking about our comprehensive plan, I neglected to note Dr. Nippert. You participated in every session there, so thank you for that as well. And then the other bit of new business is next week is our high school musical. Beauty and the Beast is next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. You can get tickets on our website. And if our middle school play is any measure of the quality of performance you're going to see, it's not to be missed. The middle school Matilda production was fantastic, and I expect our high school is going to be as good. So, thank you.
Tina, you're up. Patty.
I'll just piggyback off Dr. Finnerty there. I was able to go with my granddaughter to see the musical Matilda. Fantastic. Those kids blew me away. The dedication they have, remembering their lines, it was phenomenal, phenomenal. I was wondering if there's anywhere that it was filmed or taped, recorded, that we could possibly even show some of our veterans, reach out to some of our community members and let them just get the joy that we all had. But fantastic, and kudos to everybody who worked so hard on this. So I'm looking forward to the high school musical now. But thank you. Oh, one other thing. I just want to give a shout out to Pottsgrove Village. Jim was there also, and Dr. Finnerty. But what a great presentation they did. Pottsgrove Village is, how do I say it?
Parent advocacy group.
Yeah, it is a parent advocacy group. And the topic was less worry, more joy. And some of the resources that we have in-house, I never even realized we had for mental illness and challenging for children, for parents. So I had suggested maybe the board could get educated with what we offer, because I'd never met the counselors. All of our parents were there. Good stuff, really good stuff for the community. So kudos to Pottsgrove Village. They did a fantastic job.
Jay.
Nothing else, thank you.
Joe.
I have nothing at this time.
Move it around. Dr. Nippert.
Pence.
Jim.
Nothing to me.
Bill.
Nothing.
Ashley online.
Yeah, I just want to jump in about Matilda at the middle school. My daughter came home from college Saturday night, just came home purely to see that. And she and I went, and it was a great show. And it brought back memories, because she did the show 3 years in a row when she was in middle school. And it was such an amazing opportunity for her then. And I just, it just brought back some good memories, and those kids just did such a phenomenal job. And I'm really looking forward to Beauty and the Beast at the high school. I'll be going with at least one of my children, maybe both. My daughter might be coming home for that too. So I'm sure that's going to be an excellent show also. So I'm looking forward to that, and just hats off to the middle school for a great show.
Thank you very much, Ashley. I have nothing, so I am going to open it up for any additional public comment. Do we have any public comment? Any public comment online? And then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
See everybody in a couple weeks.